Hello everyone, I'm MVL and today we're doing a video for my video game pickups for the month of December. And now let's get right into this. First up, unboxed for the Sega Master System, I have Secret Command. Now what is Secret Command? Secret Command is actually not that much of a secret. It's Rambo 2, the Sega Master System. It was also on other systems like the Commodore 64, but this is the only what I would call console port where you can use a comfortable controller and load it without taking a long time going through computer interface and such. So they just didn't want to use the Rambo license in Europe, or couldn't afford it or something like that, so it got repackaged for Secret Command. And if you can get a good look at this, it's kind of melted or something. It's taken some damage, some battle wear as it were. But yeah, it's nice to have that. I'm not too bothered about not having a case for it because the case looks terrible. I'll give you a quick shot of what it looks like. Yeah. So there you go. Secret Command for the Sega Master System. Continuing on the Sega Master System, I got some box titles. I got Dragon Crystal. And how cool is this? This is an RPG game. It says adventure role playing on it. This is really sweet. It's a randomly generated dungeon crawler. A bit like Fatal Labyrinth, if you're familiar with that. It's really cool. I quite like this. You're a guy, you're bringing around a dragon egg that eventually hatches. The further you get into the game, you pick up random items like weapons, swords and shields, and armor. And you don't know what a lot of things do, like magic rings, potions. You don't know what they do until you consume them. It's kind of interesting. The combat is kind of turn-based. When you walk into an enemy, you automatically fight them. But if you stand around doing nothing, you'll get killed. You also need food and stuff like that, which is randomly generated, to continue playing or you'll die. And next up, I got Power Strike. This is the European cover, obviously, because I am a PAL gamer. And yeah, this game is kind of rare. I think I picked it up for 27 or something like that, £29. It goes for up to 110. Power Strike 2 is the more valuable game of the bunch. Nevertheless, really happy to pick this up. It's a top-down shooter, and I love some shooters. I've been on a bit of a shooter craze recently, so I'm really glad to pick this up. Power Strike. Next up, Shadow of the Beast. This is the Sega Master System version. It's also on the Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive as we call it in PAL region. This is based off an arcade game which is known to be incredibly unfair. And doubtlessly the graphics will look better on the Sega Mega Drive. They look really simple on the back of this. But I couldn't resist this cover. And this title makes it kind of look and sound like some sort of Iron Maiden album, Shadow of the Beast. So regardless, I couldn't resist the packaging for that one. So I picked it up. Moving on, we'll go to the Nintendo 64, and I got a bunch of cartridges. I picked up Bomberman 64, and this is a 3D version of the Bomberman games. And yeah, it's cool to get this. So what else do I get after I get Bomberman 64? Of course I get Bomberman Hero! This is the sequel to Bomberman 64. I'm led to believe the gameplay in Bomberman Hero is a bit more complex, but nevertheless, whilst I'm getting one, I might as well get the other. I also picked up Castlevania 64. And I am to understand that this game is not that amazing. I think the other Castlevania game on the 64 is well known because it has an upgraded version of the NES Castlevania game on it as well. This one I think is pretty bad, but yeah. And lastly, I got Mystical Ninja, starring Geomon. And this is a platform game. And where I picked these N64 titles up from, they had stickers on the back. And what happens when you put stickers on the back of a cartridge? Well, that's what happens to some of them. So I'm not best pleased about that, but nevertheless, I couldn't resist a couple of N64 titles whilst they were available. Finally, for the Nintendo 64, from the same place, I picked up Aidyn Chronicles, the first Mage. This is a role-playing game. I believe it has turn-based combat. This is obviously not a official box, a Nintendo 64 box, because they are cardboard. But nevertheless, it's nice to have it boxed. as you can see, the cartridge is a PAL cartridge. The fake box has the T for Teen logo, making it seem like it's an American box art. But yeah, I'd rather have a fake box than no box. At least this way I can see the full cover art, which is not obscured by the Nintendo logo, which is on the PAL version. So it's nice to have that. And it's a role-playing game. They had a lot of N64 stuff there, but the RPGs I normally go for, despite the fact that I don't really have time to play a lot of RPGs, I will one day. I will get to them. And now, next up, I got these games in Biggie's Games and DVDs. It's something like £3 for £5. I got a good deal on the Dragon Crystal. I got it for £15. It normally goes for somewhere between 25 and 30, which is good. But these, I got a really good deal. £3 for £5 for these games. The first up is Hard Edge on the PlayStation 1. If you've never heard of this, I'm not surprised, because the American title is something completely different. It's TRAG, T-R-A-G, Tactical Rescue Assault Group, and then there's a subtitle, Mission to Mercy. As strange and weird as that title is, I actually prefer Hard Edge, even though this is a very unimaginative artwork for the PAL release. It's a Resident Evil style game, actually, which means it'll have really awkward controls. Next up, another game that was, this is the only way you can really get it in the PAL region, and Sanvein. It's a shooter. I believe the American title is Shooter Sanvein, imaginatively. And I think this is the same cover, it's just repackaged in this weird Pocket Price Midas Games value series, but that's the only cover you can get for it, so that'll have to do. Yeah, it's a shooter game. Next up, I had, in the same £3 for £5 deal, I got The Hunter, which is normally known as Battle Hunter. And this was the one that really caught my eye. When I looked at the back of it, I saw that it was in fact a turn-based RPG. And it's a tactical turn-based RPG in the same style as Shining Force, or more well-known probably Final Fantasy Tactics. And this one really caught my eye. So I got a really good deal considering these were £3 for £5. And that's the game I'm most excited about of the bunch. The Hunter, or Battle Hunter that should be known. So, moving on. For the Nintendo Gamecube, I got Resident Evil 0. And yep, I've never played this. Played Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, etc, etc. Never played Resident Evil 0. I don't know why, I wasn't... I think I had the opportunity to pick Resident Evil 0 up at the time when it was released for the Gamecube. And I picked up Resident Evil 1, 2 and 3, the re-releases, because especially Resident Evil 1 was upgraded graphics. It looked a lot better, and for some reason I felt more comfortable playing a game I had already played than playing a new game, Resident Evil 0, which is a prequel to Resident Evil 1, hence the 0. So there you go. For the original Xbox, I picked up a couple of titles. I picked up Oddworld, Stranger's Wrath. The last Oddworld game I played was the first one for the PlayStation 1, which was a platformer, a 2D platformer. So this is interesting. It is only on Xbox, so it's an Xbox exclusive, so that's something to it. There you go. I also picked up another slightly interesting looking game for the original Xbox, Total Overdose. This is a Grand Theft Auto style game set in Mexico, it would seem. So that's kind of cool. Guns, cars and whatnot might be fun, might be cool, good to pick it up. And moving on from there, we shall do Xbox 360 games. First one I picked up is a game called Bullet Witch. This is most likely one of those fast combat style games. I don't know anything about this game except that it was very cheap when I picked it up. So there you go, Bullet Witch. Might be cool. Next up, now this one I was actually looking for, Enchanted Arms. It's a role-playing game, and it actually says on here an adventure exclusively on the Xbox 360, and it says that on the front as well. That's not true. I believe it was ported to the PS3. I might not have been in the PAL region ported to PS3, but it was. So nevertheless, but yeah, Enchanted Arms, good to pick that up. And next up, I got Gears of War 2, the limited edition. And I'm not really a Gears of War fan, but this was so cheap. I mean, it was something like £2.50. You got the steelbook case. It's got all this nice artwork on it. And there's an art book in here full of cool artwork. There's a little photo that comes with it of the main character, and yeah, it's just cool to pick this up for that cheap. Yeah, sure, I'll pick up a limited edition. And one thing of amusing note with this is that someone had cut out from the manual when I received it. I might have to show you this in a close-up for you to see it. But someone had cut out a bit of the manual. You see right there, they cut out a bit of the manual, and it says for technical reference, they've cut it out. And then they've included a little piece of paper with the numbers of the PlayStation 3 helpline. And this is an Xbox 360 game. So for technical reference, the PlayStation 3 technical helpline. I don't get it. I don't get it. So, yeah, I'm going to try and find another manual for Gears of War 2. Doubtlessly it won't be hard to find a manual for Gears of War 2. I'll pick up a regular copy for something like £1. Yeah, so there you go. Not too bothered about that, but there you go. Finally, for the Xbox 360, I got Ride to Hell Retribution 1%. And it has been said that 1% pretty much should be the review out of 100% that this game's got. It is allegedly one of the worst games for the Xbox 360, and that is actually the reason I picked it up. Sometimes games that are terrible are so terrible they're good and funny. I don't think that's the case with this. I think this is generally terrible. It's Glitch City. But there you go. I picked up that. Ride to Hell Retribution 1%. And then for the Nintendo Wii, I picked up a couple of games. First up, I picked up some shovelware. I got Cursed Mountain. It's a survival horror game. And you know what? It's a Wii exclusive. So if anything, it could be worth picking it up. So there you go. Cursed Mountain for the Wii. Next up, Dead Space Extraction. This is an on-rail shooter, and the reason I picked it up for the Wii is I have a bunch of Wii guns. It's really something that pleases me quite a lot. But I could also pick it up for the PS3 and use the PS Move. But yeah, there you go, Dead Space Extraction. It's a prequel to Dead Space, which is an on-rail shooter. And next up, another piece of shovelware. I picked this up for between £1 and £2. It was Dragon Blade Wrath of Fire. Another game that could be a heavy metal album, if you will. Yeah, I don't know anything about this game. The artwork looked kind of interesting. I didn't spend anything on it, so yeah, there you go. And I also picked up No More Heroes. This is a cel-shaded game, and it's by Rising Star Games. And yeah, I was looking for this. There's also a version on the PlayStation 3, and there's a sequel to the Wii that I want to pick up. So yeah, there you go. No More Heroes. And then finally for the Wii, I picked up the special edition of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. And although I'm not too hot on the Wii controls for platformer games, I had to pick this up because it includes the soundtrack. And it includes a golden Wii remote with the Legend of Zelda logo on it, which is really cool. So here you have, there you go. Okay, I feel like a child. But there you go. The CD included is The Legend of Zelda 25th Anniversary Special Orchestra CD. And it comes with its own little pamphlet as well as the big rulebook there. So there you go. Next up, oh, I nearly forgot about this. The reason I probably forgot about this is because it's not on Darkadia, which is an American site, which I use to catalogue my game collection so I don't forget anything. But it's not on there, which means it's most likely a PAL exclusive, but how much do you want this as a PAL exclusive? It's the Snow Queen Quest. Yeah, this was £1 when I was picking up a bunch of other games. Literally the only thing that attracted to me is the fact that it features the voice of Richard O'Brien, the presenter of Crystal Maze and the guy who wrote Rocky Horror Show. Next up, first off, before I mention this game, I would like to remind you of the cover art for Senran Kagura from the last episode. The great and very weird looking cover art. Yes, for this Japanese game, like I say, the American cover art for this and its sequel just looks like a normal kind of anime style cover with just a bunch of characters on the screen, not looking particularly, yeah. So what do you imagine the sequel to this would look like in the PAL region if we're going to do weird artwork? And I will say, that the artwork for this game, or either was this or the sequel, the creator originally wanted a pair of jeans on a lady as a slipcase cover that when you pulled off, yeah. Anyway, so the sequel, you've got one scroll there. The sequel, yeah, 2 scrolls. Yeah, so there you go. Senran Kagura 2 Deep Crimson with the yeah, that cover. Honestly, this game is really rare in PAL region. It's really cheap in the US NTSC region, but it's gold in the PAL region. It really is. It's really hard to find, and I actually picked it up with the pre-order art cards as well, which are very, very difficult to find. And these are the little posted art cards that came with it. So there you go, Senran Kagura 2. It's a fighting game. Yeah. And finally, I picked up, for the PlayStation 4, Final Fantasy 15, the Deluxe Edition. You may have already seen me playing Final Fantasy King's Tale, which is the pre-order bonus game which I got with this, which is download only, unfortunately. There's no physical version of that. So there you go, Final Fantasy 15, the Deluxe Edition, and it also includes Kingsglaive, the film on Blu-ray. So there you go. That's it for the month of December. Those are all of my video game pickups. Please remember during this time to cast your mind back and remember the games that we couldn't pick up this year. And with that said, I will see you next year for more pickups, more gaming videos, and more content on MVL Gaming. I've been MVL. Thank you for watching.